Welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity Weekly meeting. This is once again a meeting that we go directly into things that you can take from this meeting, implement in your business for some positive results. Today is September the 1st. So we've moved out of that June, July, August period of time that's normally, kind of a more dead period of time. And we move into the best quarter of the year, September, October, November, up into about Thanksgiving. So this is a fastball coming down the plate, belt high. Pitchers told you what they're throwing. You have to swing the bat. If you're not willing to swing the bat, take some misses, get some hits, then none of this is going to materialize, and you're going to watch people start to leave you behind. The thing that you need to think about and our agents need to think about for prospecting purposes is, hey, we've got what is going to be and what's forming perfect conditions for a successful business. So A, what does that look like to us? And then B, as we're talking to other potential partners on the outside, what does it look like to them? And what reaction do you get? If you're on the forefront of something big and you get little to no reaction from the other side, probably not a conversation you want to continue. We're in the third week of the 12-week year. If you guys are participating, great. If you're not, understand what we're trying to do here is compress timeframes, get as much done over a 90-day cycle as possible. And that really, comes from a clear vision, the ability to go out, know what to do, what not to do, have, scoring, measurement, reflection, stay accountable. This is stuff that if you can implement into your own life, teach other people how to do it, you will build branch offices and sales organizations that are much more efficient than your competition. You got to set the pace, guys. And this is what Alana and I wanted to do this month. There's so much information coming, so many changes coming. What we have to understand and what we've been preaching to you guys is you have to set the pace, because A, if you don't, there's going to be a hole in your business that you didn't fill. And then B, you're not setting the example for other people to follow. When they look at you and you're doing nothing, you're making no money, why would I follow that? So you have to understand there's dual advantages as being able to set the pace. And setting the pace means going out there, being active, leading the pack. And really what we talk about, if you want to build a sales organization, branch office, whatever you want to call it, we look at 10 by 10 in terms of we're looking for 10 sales and 10 partners coming into a branch office each and every month. If you do that and grow outside offices that have that same kind of equation or combination, you will find success. Now, in your branch office and in other people's branch office, what you have to understand is 30% or 3 out of that 10 on both sides should come from you. If it's not coming from you, you're 30% short of your goal each and every month. And that's a direct reflection of, what you didn't do. But like I said, it's also from the outsiders looking in, new people. You want them to look at your, activity, your results, and say, hey, that's something I want to mimic and follow versus, you not even really showing up anywhere. And another advantage of really getting down and building this business from the ground floor is you get the opportunity to learn as you go around, as you go along. And when you learn and when you change stuff in your own personal situation, you can teach other people's. The typical sales cycle, guys, is a mixed bag. You've got a third wins, third losses, third no decisions. What if you, for yourself, and then the ability to teach other people, what if you can cut those no decision rates down? And what if, you can cut those no decision rates down by 50%? Well, that increases a close rate up to 40%. Now you've got less people stuck in the middle. You've got more people making decisions. And then alternatively, what if we can convert 50% of those no decisions to wins? Those people that are at the end of everything say, I don't know, or maybe they say, call me back, or whatever the reason is, and they drift away. If you could, convert 50% of those no decisions to wins, that increases the whole win rate increase by 50%. And this, guys, even though this may look like small little incremental changes to you, this is huge volume in revenue and income on the backside. The other thing that you need to do, and you need to set the pace for your team, is understand that when you're closing a sale, the checklist of stuff that needs to be done at that sale and post-sale. We're trying to start a relationship with these people. You're not selling them something and disappearing. Same thing with a new hire. When you have a partner coming in, there's a checklist of stuff that needs to be done. You're not bringing somebody in, sending them off their way. Good luck. Really, the recruiting process is probably another 60 to 90 days past the time when they come in. That's an important period of time. And if you're working with people, you're grooming them to become, independent at some time, then you're doing great. But you need to do the exact same thing with every single person that comes in on the client and the partner side. Sets a standard for everybody to follow. Guys, it was just a number of weeks ago, we were talking about a second half playbook, and we were going through some of those things. And when you look at that and revisit some of those things, which are still important today, you are never going to move forward in a meaningful way, or your partners are never going to move forward in a meaningful way until you guys figure out what the why is. What is your why? Why are you doing this? What do you want? What's your vision? And that has to be something that you work on. That's not something that you stare down 45 seconds, minute and a half, 2 minutes. I want a new house and a new car. That's not a why. That's not a vision. You got to dig down deep and figure out, what do you want your life to look like? Because the end result of what you're doing traces all the way back to the vision. So if your vision is weak, your end results are going to be weak. If your vision is strong, then that's going to provide that motivation. And that's fuel for the entrepreneur to get the end results that we're looking for. This opportunity now and going forward over the next 36, 48 months is huge. So if you believe like we do in this, bet big, bet your professional life, and work with the people who deserve your time, not need your time. Your time is an investment. It has to get a return. Can't just be a bunch of people surrounding you that are not doing anything, constantly asking for more and more of your time. That digs yourself a hole, and that costs you money. And then finally, making it real, guys. So if you have looked at things in the past and you've been able to create a vision, what stopped you in the past? How will hitting your goals this time actually change your life? Got to feel that with emotion. And then what are you willing to do to make it real and make it happen? Get organized, guys. The second half playbook that we talked about a number of weeks ago, and many deficiencies and a lot of the agents that we bring in just from simple organization. And that can be cured with technology. I'm not an organized person, but technology allows me to be more organized. If you're not organized in this business, stuff falls through the cracks, and that stuff that's falling through the cracks is revenue, income, growth, all the things that you're looking for. You're building an online business. It has a huge amount of advantages here, but when you look at the online business advantages and break those down at the core, we want to make some transfers, because we're not asking you to rent an office. We're not asking you to buy a bunch of people food for luncheons. We're not asking you to do all that typical crap that the traditional model wants you to do. But what that also means is that savings that you guys have by not having those expenses, they need to be reallocated into things in the online world, like digital marketing strategies, leads, automation, things that are going to help your business. Don't just take the fact that you're getting some advantages on the expense side and not transfer them, because when you have an opportunity, you have to seize the opportunity. You have to make a little bit of an investment into your business. And if you do that smart and you understand what you get on a return, once again, you can also start teaching other people, and that has a huge positive ripple effect. No matter what you guys are doing, you got to give it 90 to 120 days. Another problem we see with agents is there's new shiny things everywhere. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you're not giving yourself or a marketing opportunity or whatever you put in place the ample time to make a data-driven decision. Up through before 90 to 120 days, you're making emotional decisions. I don't see many successful businesses based on emotional decisions. So understand, get the data points, make data-driven decisions, guys. And then finally, frustration. I mean, we all get frustrated in our business. Client sales fall through, partners don't do anything sometimes. If you let frustration just eat away at you and bring negativity into your life, are you going to lay down and let it stop you? Are you going to blame the entire world? You have to understand that frustration, you can deal with it a bunch of different ways. If you want to, kind of get a champion's mindset and get championship results, you have to know how to deal with frustration. Quick Michael Jordan story. I'm sure you guys know. He was cut from his varsity basketball team in the 9th grade, went home visibly upset. His mom tells him, you're gonna have to get outside and work harder. And so that's the champion's mentality. It's not to, let anything stop us, the roadblocks or obstacles. We're gonna work and we're gonna, go over them, plow through them, whatever we need to do to get to that end result that we're looking for. Last week, guys, in this meeting, we talked about creating a plan of action around today. What am I doing today? Revisiting the sales process, understanding the buyer's journey, what they actually go through, staying on the problem for an appropriate amount of time. You can't just jump to a solution. You got to dig into a problem first. What is working and how do you know for your business? Once again, data-driven decisions will tell you that. And welcoming and handling sales objections. This week, we really just want to use the rest of the meeting here to go through and kind of reiterate some of the stuff that's going to help you guys that we see as problems right now. Number one, how do you see yourself? Well, as agents, we're in the financial wellness category, and that whole circle right there at pie, the whole total wellness, financial is part of it. However, if you market yourself incorrectly, you're going to get crickets. I mean, you guys see this. When you start talking about money in online forums, people shut down. They fear money. So you have to understand the words that will work and the words that won't work. Yes, we're very client-centric, and we offer financial literacy. We teach people how money works. We work with the money milestones, the building blocks. But some of this language, jargon, whatever you want to call it, from the other side's perspective, that registers in their head, this person's trying to sell me something. So you need to make sure you understand what words work, what words that you should use, what words don't work, and you should avoid. One of the things that we have to understand is that money is important to everybody all the time, especially now. That's not going to change. Even though the person on the other side of that conversation might be telling you verbally, money's not important to them. Money's important to all of us. It's a forced issue in our lives, and we have to deal with it. Money is a tool, can buy a lot of things. For us as entrepreneurs, we're looking for freedom. What we do for the client is we teach them, we educate them that you've been, misinformed, you're in a trap, you're in a cycle, and we're going to show you how to alleviate yourself, unshackle yourself, and build a brand new, life around a new understanding. Understand the rules of the game, understanding how people get ahead, all of the stuff that we talk about that will allow them to move to the next part. Somebody saddled with a bunch of expenses, a bunch of debt, low cash flow, they're never getting to this side of the financial equation. Once we're able to eliminate and alleviate some of that pressure on the front side, now we can move to the asset side. How money makes money, really teaching them through some of the products and services and additional education that we have, what can really happen. Basically, we want to, learn how to bank like a bank. When you look at financial institutions, they're very good at doing all the things that we're trying to teach our clients. So the rules of the bank, they want cash flow. They want to earn interest. They want to use leverage. They want to use other people's money. They want their money back faster. They want guarantees, and they want low risk. Same thing we're trying to package up for our clients to make sure that at the end of the road, whatever they're trying to get to, we can help them get there. Because if you have a plan of action and you execute, then usually you're going to find the results. Versus just drifting through life. And you can see a whole population right now that just drifted into retirement, and they have low standards of living. They're going back to work. They're not experiencing those golden years like they really thought. We're teaching people to thrive. And once you understand that, it is about wellness. It's not just about surviving. It's not just about getting by. It's about thriving. And when you get somebody to the point that you can open up their mindset to start to not only understand some of this, but believe it, it does great things for them. And people will, when we have the solution to the problem, and then we lead with a combination of data-driven education, smart technology, it's a winning combination, guys. The right people who want to help themselves will want to talk to you. That's going to build your sales pipeline. Your sales pipeline is created through book meetings. Book meetings are just a meeting with somebody that has a reason to do something. Client, potential partner, whatever it might be. Sales, revenue, income, growth, that whole sales pipeline starts with book meetings. Your book meetings come from your markets. And we talked about this a number of weeks ago, but it's very, very important. I think the best way to approach the warm market is for help. Let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And I could really use your help practicing this, education presentation. Really on our first meeting, there's no big decisions. There's nothing to buy. So to ask somebody for help, you're not tricking them into getting a sales presentation. You legitimately want to go through an educational meeting with them so you can get practice, get their feedback, you value their opinion. That's the best way. And then once outside the warm market, I really believe the best way that you're going to get in front of the most people is through what we've developed, lead magnets. Give them something of value they actually want that will let them opt in, create the lead, Then through a combination of automation and manual work from our side, we push them through the pipeline to hopefully what we want, book meetings. And this is how you develop a lead magnet strategy. You give something away on the front side that has value, that creates the lead through the process of what we're doing, awareness, interest, decision, action. Other side, you're going to be hitting the bullseye on some of this stuff, bringing in the right partners, bringing in the right clients, seeing the growth, getting excited. You got to be systematic. We talked about this, when the checklist for the clients, the checklist for the partners, you're doing the same thing. Same deal with marketing, same deal with the way you answer. It's got to be systematic because it's important. If you're doing something that I can't replicate and that, a couple generations down can't replicate, that's a chaotic build out. If everybody's doing the same thing, you're very systematic. You know that if you've got 10 offices, exactly what's going on in those offices. So if there's problems, you know how to correct those. But if you set the systematic approach up from the beginning, you're going to find this build out way easier. And your new agents just have to really get good at doing one thing in the beginning. We've got the virtual assembly line. They've got a lot of help. Just practice what they need to practice, which is, opening those conversations and getting people to a general interest point where they want to get further educated. Every single day, guys, we're building an audience, we're engaging with that audience, and we're selling the audience. Got a question the other day, how am I selling an audience if we're just giving something away? Well, that is selling the audience. So we've taken the approach, the opt-in URL, hey, take this, take that, it's got value, read it. It's going to help you do X, Y, or Z. The opt-in URL is the gateway to everything we want to do, which is lead creation, follow-up, book meetings, partners, clients, everything comes through the gateways of opting in through that URL that we've set up in the funnel. And basically our opt-in, our lead magnet is, hey, you are X, this is Y, that will help you do Z. So you're an insurance agent. It's a guy that will help you sell more insurance, make more money. Here, it's free, take it. And then, like I said, once they're actually in through the process of the automated things that we have set up, campaigns and triggers, and then plus the manual part that you'll do if somebody gets stuck in a pipeline, you're pushing people down through that pipeline. They're either going to opt out, they're done, they don't want any more information, or they're going to get into a booked education meeting. You have to understand your giveaway. And if you don't understand your giveaway, especially the stuff that we're like putting your name on, then you need to understand that when you're giving something away, you need to have a good understanding of what that is, because a lot of the follow-up that we do manually is about, hey, did you get the lead magnet? Did you go through it? What did you think about it? Let's continue the conversation on a book meeting. If you don't know anything in the lead magnets you're giving away, I think it's going to be pretty apparent in some of these conversations you have with the other person. They're going to lose trust in you. Throughout this whole process, you guys, I guarantee you're going to get an intro and what I call a crash course in human psychology. The way people are wired, the way they act, what they do. You sit there all day trying to figure people out in terms of why they do what they do. It's a waste of time. What you need to understand is how to maneuver through some of the psychology. You always going to anticipate some resistance on the front side. You have to understand how to work through that. Your goal, and this is what we talk about, is getting your prospect talking about goals, problems, because we're not offering solutions, remember, until we've got a good idea, the goals, the problems, and we talk about that, and really spend some time on that. And then the one thing that we really want to get good at doing is selling that book meeting, that appointment, not the product or the service. You get people into educational meetings, I guarantee what we teach them, open the eyes of the right people, everything else will flow through. Another thing, if people say that I've been doing this or I can do this going forward, you have to have that moment where don't just let them say that, work through it. Okay, if they have been doing something and they tell you about it, how's that working out for you? If they are going to do something in the future, let's just have an open, honest conversation about the ability for that to work out over the long run. Because, I can guess, I can get in the car right now and I can guess, I'll drive north up to, I want to go to New York City from where I am. However, with a GPS, plug it in, I get step-by-step instructions. So people have to understand that if they are doing something, or if they're going to do something in the future on their own, how's that working out? Or how do we think that's going to work out for them? Probably not well. And all of this comes back to making sure that you understand who you're speaking to. Many people have a fixed mindset. And when you understand how they view the world, that there's a scarcity of resources, that Basically, many people are out there just to take advantage of you versus the growth mindset. If you're talking to somebody with a growth mindset, going to pick up on that. Those people are very easy to talk to. They understand things like investment, value over price and cost. However, the fixed mindset doesn't. So you have to understand when you're talking to these people, can become confrontational with them. There's some words, there's some phrases, there's some questions that you can use to try to get them to open up and see that, hey, maybe the way that I'm viewing the world, my future, this product or service is kind of limited. And then when you're looking at, if I'm talking to a certain persona, inside that persona, I understand different, ways that I can segment even that persona through demographics, where they, who they are, through geographics, where they are, psychographics, what they're thinking, behavioral, how they act. The more that you understand about a certain person, whether that's a homeowner, a real estate, CPA, insurance agent, the better you understand that other person on the other side, the easier it's going to be for you to talk to them, and then also lead them through preemptively overcoming some obstacles that typical persona throws up. This is a great quote, guys, and this is really what we're trying to do as a company. This is our mission. We're not really trying to give people what they think they want. We're trying to give them what they never thought was possible. A lot of people don't understand and don't feel that financial freedom, financial wealth, financial prosperity is possible. And that goes back to the very first thing we're talking about. They don't understand how money works. They don't know the rules of the games. They're playing a game expecting to win. They don't know the rules of. Probably a 0% chance that's going to happen. That's why we lead with education. And in closing, guys, just to reiterate a couple of things that are very, very important. What you do today on any hour, whether it be the 2 to 3 hour, 5 to 6 hour, whatever it might be, that hour is going to have effects on your yearly results. So understand what you're doing at any given moment has a back end, either positive or negative impact on your goals and your results. And really, do you have the desire to dominate a market? If you do, then that's really what you're looking for in a really good partner. We've got different types of opportunities, but really what I'm looking for, dedicated distribution partners who want to come in and want to build nationwide distribution of products and services that are going to change the financial landscape of this country. And then what's going to get the results? Once again, we talked about the 12-week year in terms of it teaching us what to do and what not to do. Once you understand what to do that over and over and over again until you don't have to. And we've talked about this also. That's probably the uncomfortable stuff we don't want to do. Be active, but also be accountable, because if you have activity and no accountability, you're really not able to understand what your activity is getting and how to adjust that to get better results. And finally, the only surefire way to fail is to give in, give up, quit. You run and refuse to do all that. Even in your worst of days, step outside, the trenches of building this and understand that you are making progress. You do have a team of people around you that are dedicated, and this will happen. Ultimately, one of these, and this is two sides of the paper, draw a line down there. You got your excuses on one side, you got your dreams on the other side. This is for us personally, this is for our partners, this is for our clients. One of these is going to win out. Which one's it going to be? And that's really all we've got for this week, guys. I hope that you can take some of this information away, teach it to your agents, implement it in your own business, and then really get this moving. Don't sit around like we talked about with a bat on your shoulder during this particular course.